Being live stream, look, got a little notification.
Yay!
Right, I think it would take a few seconds for it to kind of come onto.
Wow, I have a
There we go.
massive ringing in my ears.
Do you?
Oh,
Right.
okay, but that's like everyday business, especially in August, right?
Yeah. I call it download ears, where it's sort of your ears immediately tell
Yeah.
you whether there is something going on, don't they? So I'll be with you in a second. I'm just
Yes, welcome everyone. Tim is just sharing this on his page.
Good
Hi.
morning. So we're live, aren't we? We're live on your page, Mir, and we're live on my page, Timwell Practical Ascension. So happy day.
Yes, we can exhale. The technical part is done and we can go into the important stuff.
Yes, the juicy
So,
stuff.
August 2023, Tim. What
Oh my
is going
God.
on?
It's I've reflected on this many times now. It wasn't so much August that caught me, it was July. July was just it's like someone bowling a cricket ball at you, and then it comes at you at 300 miles an hour, and you've got no way of avoiding it or hitting the cricket ball, and it just gets you, sort of thing. And that energy continued into the Lionsgate, and we've done a timeline shift, a platform shift, whatever you want to call it, a consciousness shift, a vibration shift, light body and nervous system shift, all in this space of time. And it's really quite to actually articulate what we are experiencing at the moment is trickier than you might anticipate. There's been so much going on, and paradoxically, with the with the gravity of our personal shift, we're also seeing the collective 3D aspect as a reflection. So there's a lot more all of a sudden coming up. And we know all together as a conscious, awakened light community around the world that when you raise your vibration, you see the pushback, or in order to create a wave of mass awakening, like is occurring at the moment, something has to be occurring, something visible, something tangible. So we've got it all going on, haven't we? And it's interesting because we're doing our webinar tomorrow, Mia, on the day that the sun, all that beautiful, calming, peaceful Virgo energy comes in, and everyone goes, oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always look forward to every year. I was like, is it Virgo season yet? Like, God.
Yeah. Especially since you're a Leo too.
Yeah.
So, but it feels like I've been in a pool where they've just been throwing in more and more energy, more and more codes, more and more grades, sun flares, plasma, and it's like, can't swim. It's too, it's too much waves, and I don't know the new structure. So it's like so much has been coming in
Mhm.
that tomorrow on the webinar and like for the coming months, it's about really integrating. As you say, July was off the chart, and
Mm.
then it has continued. It was just for me recently, like 2 days ago, it's 2, 3 days, it started to slow down, but the amount of new templates, timeline shift, timelines coming together,
Mm.
the solar flares. It has even been like a pause in the Schumann resonance because of the timeline shift. It's so intense to be in this human body.
It is. It's regarding the solar flares, funnily enough, I think they are the ones that are really stirring the pot at the moment. It's I was in Wales on Thursday with Lavisa Altorn, and we did the lovely workshop, and we had Anna Indra there providing the music, the toning, and the bowls and everything, and it was so powerful. We had a group of about, I think, 77 or 78 people, And the energy in Wales, as it was when we were there in Wedmore, everywhere in that particular area, is absolutely off the charts. It's incredible. And on the way back, I realized I needed to take some time out. And so I've got Holly, my lovely assistant, to put a post up on Facebook saying I'm stepping back a little bit. Obviously I'm here now and we're doing the workshop tomorrow, but I've stepped my light bodies back. I don't know whether that makes sense, rather than kind of being in the mix in the field. I felt like I needed to do some serious rebuilding. It's almost like the pot was empty. And I spoke to Diana Cooper, and she said, have you been experiencing weird emotional kind of trains recently? And I went, yeah, very much so. And she said, have you heard anything about these incredible sun flares? These incredible sun flares are coming in. And we both joked about it. And I jokingly named them the photonic blasts of galactic misery, sort of thing, that come washing through your fields and release all the shadows. And of course, at the other end of it, you're far higher and far brighter than you were previously. But at the time, it is so incredibly intense to feel this stuff. And it's not, and we're going back in our fields now, we're going back a long way. Stuff is coming up that we totally thought we'd worked through, totally thought that we're over and done with, but it's there, it's being presented again. It's obviously, right, okay, there's unfinished business here. So
Yeah.
it's that cycle is it's very present for all of us, I believe, at the moment.
Yeah, because what my guides had told me is like all timelines is being cleared, so they somehow come into one, you know. So
Yeah.
that is, and I mean, if we just think about that, we can understand how intense it is and why it is this intense. And what comes down to the coming period now is about next level of self-awareness, because this will continue for quite a while. It's not gonna like disappear
No,
and like, okay, now we're
everyone
new
relax.
Earth is here and the spaceships is coming and everything
Yeah.
is done. So
Yeah.
this will continue, which means that our self-awareness needs to become more advanced. We need to go up to mastery level on self-awareness. So anything can come into our field and we can go to center. And self-awareness is really about deepening self-love,
Mm.
deepening self-acceptance, and deepening self-worth. If you love yourself 100%, if you accept everything you've done
Mm.
100%, if you 100% feel self-worthy, you will not project anything except divine love,
Mm.
divine truth, and divine power. And that's what we came here to emanate. And it's kind of hard to do it if you live and you have children and you need to interact 3D, blah, 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 blah. We need to come together because we really need to unite and do this together. And that's why we've been called to do the 6-month advanced journey. It's really for you guys that really wants to take the next level. And we've been talking about the universal laws, studying the universal laws, and if we bring in the universal laws into our everyday living, we will go into a completely new level of harmony and peace.
Yeah. That's one of the main things that I think, I was speaking a little bit about this in my Friday update. We're all racing to 5D. This is what we've been doing since the cosmic moment, the 21st of December 2012. We've got a target. We've got a collective target. We know where we want to go and how, and that we want to get there quickly. We know that our time frame is short, but have we actually truly considered what being in that vibration will mean for each of us? It's not like we can just walk in there now completely as we are. We have to go through a set of gateways, a set of protocols, to completely rewire all of the way that, if our thinking is aligned with ego and not with self-love, Now, self-love's where it begins. I'm glad you mentioned that just a minute ago, Mia, because if you are in a state of self-respect and self-love, you project that outwards, and that becomes the universal platform with which everybody communicates. And the more of us as light workers, if we're holding that genuine gold print authenticity in the way that we act and the way we speak and the way that we do and live our lives, and that is what we are going to be working with, and that is what is required with us in 5D. We can't be taking our agendas or hidden bits and pieces because everything is visible. So it's taking, in the race to 5D, have we thought about the work that we need to do in order to actually be at that frequency? Because it's not a destination. 5D is us, it's here. It's the frequency that we anchor into our hearts. So there's a lot of changes going on at the moment in all of us, and some of them aren't very comfortable.
Yeah, and to be, we're being asked to be the way showers, the map holders, and we can only be that if we are, we really just want to go into the deepest aspect of our essence, and that's not so easy out
It's not.
there. It's not, because we're being, bombarded by different energies all the time, and we need to be out on social media, and we need to also to reach out, right? So we need to be there, and there is portals opening, and our ego and the wounds and everything that we have been, there's also many memories that has been taken away out of us, which our pain body keeps reacting to. So this is also a big thing that is coming online for us, that has been on this path for a long time, that to really start to notice. And even if you're new, actually, you can jump into the advanced journey with us if you really feel like there's no other way for me. I'm 100% connected and committed to go on a spiritual path and life, 100%. But to really notice when energy is just flowing to your field, or if a program starts to run in your field, just notice that and coming back. Notice coming back, speaking about it to your children. Oh, I'm sorry, what, I don't know what that was. That was like my father's lineage. That was not
Yeah.
me, just like correcting it. So it's about also like noticing, observing, witnessing, not trying to be perfect, but be honest, be committed, be really, really, really want to go deeper into self-awareness. We don't want to have masks. We don't want to be programmed. We don't want to walk as robots, and we don't want to disconnect and leave our bodies as
Yeah.
we have been doing for a long time. Because I'm a master in leaving my body in this incarnation. Many times when it's not nice, I'm like, I'm out of there, and people are having a party. They don't even notice that I'm not there.
Yeah.
I want to be here. We want to be here. We want to be here and make that, be that light, be that love, as you say.
Absolutely. So when you say that we are going to be studying the universal laws in the 6-month advanced ascension, that's something that really excites me, because the fifth dimensional structure, or the ascended structure, is maintained purely by almost like a mathematical creation, or a geometrical creation of applicable universal laws, and they all carry a frequency, and all of those frequencies make up the kind of the cosmic puzzle that we are part of. So whereas 3D, the third dimension that we were all born into, was a realm of free will, and and therein lied the lesson. You go to 3D school, you get down, then you got a choice. You can do what you want. Basically, you can do what you want. You can make your choices: dark path, light path, grey path, whatever path you want to take. But ultimately, the lesson, or the realization that all actions have consequences, came later. So the structure that we are building around us now, that we are becoming part of very rapidly, means that there is no delayed consequences for actions that are out of alignment with the heart. Everything happens in a constructive real time. So we're getting used to also having that energy come straight back to us if we are acting out of alignment. There are, you might hear these words and say, well, how does that fare for those beings on this planet that are obviously acting, they're guided under guidance of the dark kind of thing? They're still playing their roles, and ultimately they're building that around them as becoming very, very uncomfortable to be applying the third dimensional energies on this planet. And if you notice, there's a kickback immediately now. It's not like it was 10 years ago where all of these kind of nefarious deeds or activities were going on the world. The second that they happen, people are recognizing them, and it's becoming, and that bounce back is becoming quicker and quicker, because we are all in a state of awareness, and this is just increasing, and so that's all part of this. It's initially, it's very uncomfortable because we are being privy all the time to things that we're kind of trying to pretend that didn't exist. And like you were saying before we went live, Mia, we're during the question and answer and during these workshops, we are going to be covering topics that are pertinent for all of us. It's not just all about the light. There are things that we're alchemizing on this planet at the moment that are very much the opposite end of the scale, and we must learn to do that from almost like an angelic perspective, so we can work. We don't get bound in, we don't get attached to it. We can just do the job, we can alchemize it, and we can move on to the next level. And that's tough. That's tough for us because we have emotions, and we are keyed into the things that we see and that we feel. So it's we've got a lot to do.
Eventually, we really want to step into our divine spiritual power. And that's what has been taken away from us from eons of lifetimes, right? Where so many persecutions, name it, happened. But returning back to our full spiritual power. And that will actually be a part of the work already tomorrow on our webinar. But before, when we did the 6-month journey, we did the lives, the Q&As in the Facebook group, but now we're going to do them on Zoom, so we can go even deeper and feel that we can really say whatever needs to be said, and there's no fear of being removed in any way. So it is important, and as you say, there's a very significant time of, also, as you were talking, I was seeing like each universal law has codes still in our blueprint that needs to be activated. So each universal law is connected to codes in our blueprint that is just awaiting to be activated, which is part of the gift and next level of our mission. But also what, like, the advanced ascension is also like having a willingness to actually be uncomfortable, because behind the uncomfortable, that's where you become free. So you're also having a willingness, because I mean, honestly, in the beginning, I thought I was willing, but I was still, running of each distraction that made me not suffer. Could I be distracted? I run there. And still, sometimes I still take a vegan, Ben and Jerry to escape. Not you too. But I mean, we need to have a strong willingness to go through uncomfortable, because that's the clearing. And when we can be uncomfortable, that's when that spiritual divine power comes. It's like, this is not who I am. This is not mine. This is my center. I'm coming back and really strengthening the light pillar beyond time and space, and strengthening our connection with the galactic, cosmic, and universal families that needs to come online more. We need to ask them more for assistance. To be honest, I share this in my own life, but what my guides told me is like, you cannot do this by yourselves anymore. Like, where you are, you're going to need to really start to connect with your cosmic, galactic, and universal families, because you are not making it as a human in your human experience with your body. You're going to need us.
Mm.
So we're going to work with that too,
That's a
strengthening
very,
that connection.
it's a very good point, because as we're moving into this, it's something else that's been identified around the Lionsgate, is the fact that many of you that are listening now, or many that are joining the 6-month journey, and are just connected to the field, might be noticing that there's a huge increase in beings of light who have now come to the planet. There might be archangels that you do not recognize. There might be ascended masters that you're thinking, I've never connected with you before, and you might be given a name that you have no clue. There's nothing in your memory banks. You've not read about this person. You've not connected with them before. There are literally, excuse me, billions of ascended beings, angelics, galactics, dragons, unicorns, you name it. They are coming in now in wave after wave. So always use your discernment when you are connecting to them, but be aware that you are far from alone. You know, if you might have gone through a few years, particularly from 2020 onwards, where you felt a little bit isolated, maybe like your teams and your guides are stepping back a little bit, this is no longer the case. There's an abundance of assistance to help you, as Mia just said, anchor that light in and be and do what you have come here to do, basically.
And we haven't been ready for them before, both
No.
like energetically, our bodies. This is why we've been undergoing these upgrades and still are doing. We
Mm.
couldn't really, like, they couldn't come close to us, but we
No.
had also been scared. And even the things that they are going to show us, that's what they told me, we wouldn't like appreciate it. We wouldn't have
Mm.
understand it. What they're going to show us, assist us with, activate us with, we have not been ready. Now, if we wake up in the middle of the night and a beautiful being is standing by our feet, we will not be scared. We will be like, yes, they're here. Yes, but 2 years ago we would be like, oh, what
Yeah.
is this?
Like, bugger off, I'm asleep.
So
Come
so
back in the
they're
morning.
yeah, so they're a little bit like, okay, we're moving into Earth. They're getting ready. Many are getting ready. We're moving in. We're gonna assist them more. So it's a little bit like that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember getting trounced by the unicorns at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the
Oh.
morning back. I think it was they always used to turn up in January, just after the 3-week integration, after the
Mm.
December solstice. And just as you think everything's calming down for a bit, or for me personally, the unicorns would turn up, and it'd feel like I'd been plugged into the mains for 2 or 3 nights. So if you're getting that, if you're connecting with beings that are lighting you up,
Mm.
just ask them to maybe kind of tone it down a bit and say, how can we cooperate? How are we going to work together?
For me, it has been 3 a.m. for 2 months, every
Right.
single night, Tim. But
Yeah.
that's how it is when you take a break. They were like, oh, Mia's taking a break.
Oh, we're
No
going to get you.
webinars for 2 months. We're going to get her. She doesn't need to sleep.
No, we don't need sleep in our realm. You don't need sleep either. So
Exactly.
come on up, you get.
So we hope that if you feel you need assistance or you really want to come in and work with us, so with all these energies that are just floating in your field from the Lion's Gate, you're very welcome to join us tomorrow or listen to the replay afterwards, because there's really this deep, 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 deep opportunity to use these energies right now, and not just have receiving them, having a hard time, and then just, passing on to the next time. Like, really, really use them. That's why we were called to do this webinar. So we were like, okay, we're here, we gather, we're like 600. How can we make the most out of this?
Mm.
And the 6 month journey is not starting until middle of next month. But if you join now, you're going to get into the Facebook group. We have already started to prepare with some activations,
Oh, the
and you've done
field's
a
already
beautiful
set.
crystal grid.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting assistance also by joining. If you're thinking of joining and you're doing it already now, you're getting assistance in some anchoring and some grounding energy, because I'm feeling that also. I just checked this morning, and the group feel is getting anchored, and that's
Yeah,
so nice. Anchored and grounded, and that we could need.
that's something which all of us are now becoming aware of, is the fact that group fields are incredibly supportive. For me, it's very interesting because I've functioned, like for the first part of my journey, I was very much solo kind of thing. So I felt like I was carrying all the weight myself. So to now have that field support and be able to call upon that assistance when I need it without maybe even making a physical shout is something. It's work with it. If you're not familiar with maybe doing that, maybe if you're new to the pathway or you've very much kind of done your own anchoring previously, the support field that occurs when you commit to a field is incredible. So you're finding, like, instead of running the whole 5 kilometers on your own, it's kind of like running a relay. Somebody will take the baton after half a kilometer, and then and that's energetically what it works like. It's a lot more supportive for where we are and what we're going through at the moment to have a group field, even if it's a healing group that you're part of. It's something that we're all learning to navigate at the moment, and I'm personally finding it very interesting.
And it's much more fun. It's like when, I mean, usually when you do a webinar, we do a webinar and, you know, that's it. But now we're doing a webinar together in the 20th of September. And then in the Facebook group, you know, everyone can talk about it, how they have perceived it and what happened. So it's also like, okay, like recognition and validation. Validation is something I'm feeling is very important on this journey because we're still not trusting what we're receiving. And when we
Yeah,
are in a safe, closed group and we're noticing that, whoa, he also, and like, you know, what I'm receiving is I'm receiving validation. So I'm starting to trust more, having faith in my visions, in my inner messages. That's huge. And
yeah,
then we have the Q&As after each webinar, which we usually don't have when we have our regular webinars. So we do the webinar, you know, you can interact with each other, how it has been for you. And then 2 weeks after we do the Q&A where you can put all the question on us. Usually we sit there for 2 hours and just
just
answering
work
all
our
these.
way through them, sort of thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's so amazing. Those
Mm.
questions, we're like, oh, I mean, we didn't even think about this. And then we go to the next webinar, and then we are still like this same group. And the next webinar, we're stronger. We are more prepared, and the group field is stronger. So it's very unique. Like last year was really something
It was a
special.
real eye opener, wasn't
It
it,
was it
actually?
it was a huge thing, and many said that it was like so transformational. And this time we're actually ending by gathering in Glastonbury
Yeah.
afterwards, and that's going to be a huge party to meet up physically later on. So that's
I
something
like
we're
that.
looking
Now
forward to.
that's a really cool way to actually conclude a
Mm.
kind of like a learning process, like a growing
Yeah.
process, isn't it? So
Yes, and don't be scared that you are not advanced enough.
yeah,
You'll receive what you need. It's just like you that you feel a strong commitment. And we all experience resistance.
mm,
It's not like you're not going to have resistance. You know, there will be days, moments, hours of resistance and thinking like, oh no, I'm not advanced enough. But that's just BS. You are.
yeah. If I've always had that policy. It's like in at the deep end. If you've got an interest, if you're drawn to something,
Yes.
it's only the human mind or the ego that says you're not good enough or you're not high enough or this is above your bandwidth of energy. Like you say, it's nonsense. The second you immerse yourself, even if the conscious mind isn't understanding, your light body knows exactly what it's doing. So get
Yes.
stuck in.
Willingness, commitment.
Hmm.
It's going to be self-love at the end of the day. So I'm so much looking forward for tomorrow's work, team. Like, oh my God, like, you know, take these energies, integrate them, and then off to next period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I keep getting I keep getting the kind of the instructions. It's light body rebuild, light
Yes.
body rebuild over and over again. That's what's been going on with me. It's almost like a complete restructuring of the capacity of the light that we can hold at the moment. And it's almost like you can double what you could hold previously. And that's amazing for physical human beings where we are. But if you think about the length of time that we've been on this transition from 3D to 5D now, we're exactly halfway through. So to do the next part of it, we have to increase our capacity to work with the energies that are being presented. And for all of these new souls to be presenting themselves, they were there all along, but we couldn't perceive them.
Yes.
The fact that they are visible to us now means that we have taken a massive step up. There we are.
We are ready.
Yay.
So we will put the links and everything you need to find out more information. And I will put the mail also to my team if you have any questions. But as always, where we're heading and where we are right now is, I usually say, even like I am having a facilitator training where there's almost no information at all. And people are like, where's the curriculum? I'm like, I'm sorry, but you just need to feel if this is for you or not. Just trust, and that's where we're heading now. It's like, if your heart says yes, go for it. Like, don't even use your mind.
No.
That strong inner guidance and strong inner yes. That's it. Is it a yes or is it a no? So, okay, thank you, team. So nice to connect. I'm looking
And
forward
you,
to
Mia.
tomorrow.
Lovely,
And
lovely as always, and sending you all so much love. And
yeah,
joining
thank
us
you,
tomorrow
everyone.
night. We will see you there.
Bye,
Right.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.